In June of 1996, I was stationed in Saudi Arabia when I was in the Air Force, and terrorists bombed our base. I ended up breaking my back and my left knee in there. That was in enough pain that it got me kicked out of the military, got me medically retired. And I was bumming around trying to figure out what I was going to do with my life, and I ended up going to see some chiropractors, and I was like, all right, this is pretty good. And then I joined up with chiropractic school, and then I was leaving that one day and I got hit by a car when I was on my motorcycle, and that messed up the right side of my body. So I was back to square, less than one.
So I was 18, I had been away at college, I was home at Christmas, I'm from Colorado, and we were sledding on an old highway that was just pure ice. And the truck would take us up and follow us down, a big Dodge truck. And a friend and me were both on sleds where you ride on your stomach. And it was so icy, we were dragging our toes, and he ran over me with a sled. And it flipped me around, so I was now facing up the road. And the truck saw us crash and slammed on his brakes, and then ran over me with his right rear and right front tire.
My legs pinched between bumpers of a couple of cars and experienced a full body whiplash. Had to go through some rehab with some damage that occurred to my legs. But as I was doing so and improving in that regard, I started developing really severe headaches. And eventually they were diagnosed as migraine headaches. I just knew them to be horrible.
I spent 2 years searching medically for a diagnosis, for help, even in relieving the pain. I just felt drugged, or I felt worse with the therapies that they would prescribe. The doctors would make me feel badly that they couldn't figure out what was wrong with me when blood tests came back okay, maybe I was depressed, or that it was all in my head, or that I was making it up. I'd go home crying from doctor's appointments.
As a NUCCA doctor, we oftentimes get the stories from patients where it's, I've tried this and this person, this expert, this medication, this therapy, and you're my last-ditch effort. We get that a lot.
2 years into seeking medical care, they came up with the diagnosis of chronic fatigue syndrome and had nothing, nothing to offer. I was really fortunate to find a NUCCA chiropractor who had done research on chronic fatigue syndrome, and that's what made me go see him and how I recovered my life. So that's how I got to chiropractic school, so that I could help people with chronic pain too.
It's a privilege to be able to go and provide hope to people who have been lost in the system or have not really known what to do, and to be able to address a piece of the puzzle that may have been missing for them for a long time is really quite rewarding, but also nice to be able to empower them with that knowledge.
The reason that NUCCA procedure helps with chronic pain is because we're working at the brainstem. And just north of the atlas, just above the atlas, there's the center in the brainstem that's in charge of suppressing pain that comes up from the lower body.
The integration of every cell of the body, the integration of all the muscles with one another, the interface between the skeletal system and its supporting system has a juncture just outside the skull at the top of the neck. There are very sensitive balancing mechanisms between the base of the skull, C1, C2, and C3, that affect the body's position in a three-dimensional gravitational field.
Some culture calls the atlas the mouth of God, denoting the power there. And whenever the mouth of God is completely free of interference, you're able to be fully expanded in who you are, right? Whether it's mental, emotional, physical.
I can look into the eyes of the people who come in to see me and feel their pain because I've been there, and to be able to offer them hope where they had no hope is completely amazing.
My folks, my dad actually learned of a chiropractor that was quite a ways away that does the NUCCA work, working with the alignment at the head and neck junction. And At the time, I just said yes to appease him because I had kind of given up in a way. That was a moment in time that changed the course of my life at that point compared to the direction I thought it was headed.
But what I tell my patients, it's not the adjustment that's going to allow you to heal and get well. It's the holding of the adjustment.
So I held the adjustment for 6 months and just kept recovering.
The very first time I got adjusted, I did not feel anything the first day, but when I woke up in the morning, it was like a light had turned on in my life.